ladies and germs. Welcome to the rat hole. It's been a little while since I put a video up. I got behind me here a backdrop that I snipped from Chevaholic's Instagram page, I believe. He's a fine photographer, that guy. A good car photographer. A carographer. He puts up some really nice pictures. I told him, if his mechanic thing don't work out for you, man, you could make it as a photographer. He goes, yeah, instead of being a broke mechanic, I can be a broke photographer. And I understand this is an expensive hobby that we're in, but I'm going to throw up a couple pictures that he's done, because check him out over there on his Instagram page and his YouTube channel, but he puts up some nice pictures. I wanted to say thank you to the people who've reached out and inquired as to my well-being and my whereabouts. Man, just scores and scores of people. Well, no, not really. 3 or 4 people's ask me how I'm doing and where I'm at and what's going on and how come I'm not making videos. And one guy on Instagram said, "Did you quit YouTube?" No, I haven't quit YouTube. I haven't had the time to sit down for the 3 or 9 hours that it takes to edit a bunch of videos. I've been doing this thing called life outside of YouTube, I've been working. I've been booking some work, which is a good thing, because in order to do this, I have to do that. In order to pay for this, I have to do that. So that's good. I've been booking work, and I'm happy about that. We're getting some things booked up for spring. Got a pretty good season coming up, it looks like. So I've been doing that, and I just haven't edited. I haven't sat down and done the editing. Now the camera's been rolling, so I got some stuff. I don't even know what you're going to see tonight, or whenever you see this. I don't even remember what I've filmed. The camera's been rolling, I just haven't edited. So, but you'll see something. I'm going to put something up. I don't know what. It may not be worth watching, and if it ain't, just click off of it and go watch something else. But I'm going to put something up. Anyway, yeah, it's been a couple of weeks, but I've been known to take a couple of months off of this YouTube thing. I take a break from it in times past. But I haven't worked on the Dirty Dozen a whole lot because, like I said, I've been busy with other things. And then sometimes you just have to take a break from it for a little while so you don't hate it. You don't want to come to hate it while you're building. If you're not careful, that's what'll happen. But one guy said, "Man, if you don't get with it, your grandkids are going to finish that." Well, that'd be okay too. But I just can't work on it 24 hours a day, So it'll happen when it happens. But it will come along. Anyway, yeah, to the folks out there that have inquired about me, I'm doing just dandy. If it was to be any better, I'd have to be a twin to take it all, I guess. So that's where that's at. I'm going to put up some of the stuff I've been filming, and we'll see where it goes. I do believe my pants are on fire. Looks like my chair's on fire. I believe my table's on fire. Oops! Hey, welcome to Rat Rodding. My name's Waylon Wire, and don't ever do what we do here on this channel. It's Friday. I just got out here to the shop. What time is it? 1:30. 1:35. And I come out here and I just find myself going in 3 different directions at one time because I'm conflicted. I want to finish up the steering. I want to mount that steering column. It's not mounted, it's just hanging in there. It's hanging in. It's hanging in there, man. It's just hanging in there with Waylon wire right now. I got to pull it up a little bit. But I think it's going to work out. I got to straighten it up a little bit, which means I need to adjust where it comes through the firewall. And I didn't order I just ordered yesterday the bearing that mounts the firewall mount bearing that shaft goes through. Yeah, I'm going to pull it over this way just a little bit to straighten up steering wheel inside. I'll pull it over on the firewall, I mean. This means I'm going to have to notch it out and then weld some metal back into it so it has some strength, and I'll weld a support brace across on the inside as well. But I'll do all that when I hang the brakes. I want to see where everything needs to be, but I kind of want to get going on this. You know, this is the fun stuff. This working out these issues and creating and, you know, using your imagination and your ingenuity and all that. I want to get this hood thing braced up. Butterfly hoods, I want to weld a little brace across there so I can handle them myself without them constantly folding up all the time, and pull that back here and see what it looks like, and just playing around with that, and yet this thing needs some attention. One of the relays is apparently bad or not getting power to one of the fan systems on one of the radiators. So, you know, I come out here and I started working on that, but I keep looking over here at this, and I'm working on that, but I got to get it on the lift, and I really don't want to roll this out because I'm kind of right in the middle of something, and oh, what a high-class problem, ain't it? So, I'm going to turn this camera off and do something. I don't know what, but something is going to happen. We'll see later what it turns out to be, I guess. Well, the deal here is I've got two of these engines. One of them has a bad block with good innards, and the other one has a good block with bad innards. So the guy that had these, his plan was to take the two of them and make one, and that was my plan as well. Well, he ran across a running engine, so he no longer needed this system. And the same thing happened to me. After I bought these, I ran across that running engine, so now I no longer need these. But these were in Canada, and old Robo Frank, what a guy, you know. He went to Canada and got these for me. And you know, he didn't have, when he looked at them, he thought, well, I don't really have time to go get them. So, for himself, but he made the time to go get them for me. And what a guy, you know. So, when I paid him for the engines, I tacked on a pretty good little bonus for his efforts, because, man, he really did me a solid, you know. And then it was a hassle, too. He got up there and had all kinds of hassle at the border about bringing this engine over and the paperwork and all that. So he just spent the whole day, and he said it was a real weird feeling to not be able to get back in your own country, you know, and he had things to do. And so, you know, I paid him a pretty good little bonus, but whatever it was, it wasn't enough, you know. I mean, I just couldn't have paid him enough, but he's just that kind of guy. He'd do anything for you, and he did. So, yeah, that's the story on these. But I've had people on YouTube say, I've got to have one of those V12s work, and I get one of those V12s. And I go, well, send me an email, and I'll give you some information. Of course, you never hear from them again. People get all excited in the moment, and it's all over in a little while when it comes time to follow through, you know. But, yeah, I would give these two up. Somebody could make them V12, two of these. And it's not totally out of the question. I may still do it, you know. Because when this is said and done, I will still have an original oil pan. So that's no big deal. Anyway, yeah, I could take the two of these and make one. I'm going to have to go get a light. I think I can't really see what I'm doing back in that dark hole. Alright. And wouldn't you know, it's snowing. I think I missed my window of opportunity. It's all over now. Don't you worry about me. I want you to be happy as I when you love me. I'm never going to forget those sweet memories. It's all over now. Don't worry about me. It's like these things. When these things came out, and I remember when these came out, but I remember before that. But when these came out, I thought these and the International was just the ugliest thing that had ever been built. But now, I kind of like it. I switched them. This one that held air, but I need to put it on the other side. That way you can take yours back with you. Okay. Because once we get it in there against old furs, we won't have access to that. Oh. So I'm putting mine over there.
Man, that's a lot of extra work.
No. I mean, well, I had nothing else to do.
Way to go.
I pooped around too long with this anyway.
Moment of truth.
I should have had this done a long time ago. Does it fit?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh, no, there you go.
Didn't it? That S10 didn't pour. It looked like it was, you know.
Couple of them on there, we're not going very far.
If you're doing all the work, the least I can do is hold the light.
Yeah. I just had that.
I'll hold the bag.
I mean, come on.
What's the matter with that thing? It can't,
There.
if it's the other side.
Yeah. That's left-handed thread over there, though. He's a right-handed.
I know.
And they're twice as big, yeah?
That'll fool you.
Snug them up.
Yeah, we're up on the hub and everything. I think we're good.
All right, let it down for real now, like we meant to.
Yeah.
Oh, except well, it looks like come in just a little bit more. Yeah, that'll do her. Well, this one. There's nowhere to spare it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, and especially squirrels, good morning. Well, I had so many things going on here at one time, trying to do 7 things at once, and I just had to kind of take a little break and regroup, back off of my ADD was kicking in real bad, and so when I'm waiting for a part for my steering, a couple parts actually, one will be here today, so I can move forward a little bit. So in the meantime, I was kind of mocking things up here. And this has to come down. This has to come down to line up with this. And you should taper forward, you know, you should follow this line here and come on down and taper forward. But I'm going to try and cheat just a little bit because when I get that grill in there, it's pretty close to the ground, you know, it's be kind of like a cow catcher on a train, and that's okay, you know, but if I can lower this down and not tilt it forward too much, you know, get it up so that that frame's not too close to the ground, and I need to drop this about 4 inches. I might be able to cheat and get away with only 3, but here's the thing, my eye will tell me what I can get away with on that. When I back off and look at it, you know, my eye will say, yeah, that'll work, or no, gotta rethink that. But that grill has a really nice slope to it, forward anyway. So I don't have to really bring the, whether I bring the front down or not, that's already, that rake is already there. Or slope, or whatever you want to call it. But it angles forward to the bottom. Like I do that, it looks really cool. Yeah, you know, I got this eye. It'll tell me how it's supposed to be. When I built that Dojulac there, I had a guy come up here, and he's an anal boy. He has to have everything just ever so, and everything's got to be chrome and shiny painted and all that. But he's a good builder. I got a real compliment from him when he backed off and looked at that Dojulac, and he said, you know, that thing is really proportionate. And it is, because my eye told me that if I cut that bed, if I made that bed 1 inch longer, 2 inches longer, probably get away with 1 inch, but if it was 2 inches longer or 2 inches shorter, it wouldn't look right. It just wouldn't be proportionate. So I have to rely on my eyeball, and it'll tell me what to do with this. But in the meantime, I'm waiting on the part to show up. Should be here. 12:30, 11:30 now. 11:30 now, 10:30 now. So I got to tear this down. I got to kind of situate my steering, make sure it's not going to fall apart here. It's just temporarily kind of mocked up. Well, the first thing we got to do is get Jed off of here. This is old Jed right here. This is Jed Clampett right here. Get Jed off of there, and then you can go whee, whee. Because I got to roll this thing out once again. It has to roll out. My son's coming up to put some snow tires on his wife's car, I think, and well, yeah, winter tires. I drug them all out yesterday. Then he's got his little car to bring up, and we want to look underneath it and check for damage because he hit his. I think it was his first deer. Nobody hurt. Damaged the car, knocked the headlight out, bent the fender, and he had to pull the fender up, get it off the tire so they could drive it home. But this time of year, man, the deer are out and it's foggy, and they come down from the mountains, and from higher up in the mountains. And so, yeah, we're going to look underneath, just make sure there's no damage. I think it's probably okay, but we want to check it out. So I need the lift. So this is time to take this stuff apart and get this thing out of here, and we'll get back to it later. Yeah. The Chevrolet made a suggestion the other day that I really like, and I've already, well, I don't know where it's going to wind up in the video if you've seen it already or if you haven't seen it, but this oil pan, I was talking about the possibility of using a dry sump system, and he goes, well, before you do all that, why don't you just shorten that suction tube and on the pump, and if you can take that sump off the oil pan, shorten that oil pan, but then add to it somewhere else, add width to it so that it holds the same amount of oil as it did before. And I'm going to look into that. I'm going to investigate that because that was a really good idea, and a lot less expensive than trying to do a dry sump system, because I've already got the extra oil pans and I can cut it up and do whatever I need to do. But the thing is, the original pump, this has a high volume pump in it, a special pump, more so than just V6. This V12 has got more of a pump. So the issue with shortening the oil pan is that pump is so long to begin with. Now, I'm not talking about the spout, the suction spout. You can put that anywhere you want, shorten that up, whatever. But I'm talking about the pump itself mounted up on the bottom of that engine. It's so long that it takes up a lot of that sump. I think I've got a pan out there that's already been shortened some. I don't know how much, but until I compare it, but I might be able to get 1 more inch out of it, but it's going to hit the bottom of that oil pump. So that's partly why you can't, just totally shorten it up. Talking about this steering system and looking at this steering system, my initial thought was to come through the frame, as I did, and run down the inside of this frame rail, and it goes right through this cross member here. Now I can take that cross member out if I need to. I've got plenty of strength without it. I just kind of wanted to leave the original cross member in there if it worked out. So far it's worked out, but we're not done yet. Anyway, that happens to come right down through that cross member. And it comes out, I have to drill a hole in this cross member here. But that was my initial thought, was to then run it along the inside of the frame rail and then kick it up back here to the steering column. And that may still happen, but then I got the idea of, about the other day we were looking at it together. Mr. Steve Sizemore, thanks man, Steve, for coming up and hanging out with me a little while and bringing your beautiful, beautiful car up. We'll get that in the video, but we're kicking around looking at what it would, you know, what it would be like if you just, boy, you could mount that right there, and that U-joint would hardly have any bend in it at all. That would be easy. And this one, I believe, would function. Where you guys are, this one would function, I believe, at that angle. If not, I have a double. I have a carding joint over there that would work. This is against the engine right here, but this has to come over just a little bit. I'll talk about that steering wheel and where it's mounted a little bit later. So, there's that idea. And that's not a bad idea. Here's the only thing. Is what's going to determine that is if it's going to hit the radiator. Right up there. The radiator has to go in here. And this might get into the radiator. That's the next step, is to mock it up and see where that radiator falls. And then that may determine whether I'm going to go this direction or if I'm going to run it down and tuck it in behind the frame rail. Man, look at that. And look at the view. Look at the view behind that thing.
You got the best view in the world up here, bud.
Tain't bad.
No, it's not.
I'm very happy with where God planted me.
Boy. You know it. You know it. You're blessed and you know it. That's the best part of it.
I never take for granted where I live. You know, I'm always looking up at the mountains and stuff around here.
Yeah.
I never take for granted where I live. Look at that thing. How long have you had that, Steve?
96.
Wow.
And it's been, an ongoing thing of putting it together and pieces and parts and stuff. I got the cruise working now, and air conditioning's next. Love to see air conditioning in it.
Well, you just don't see these, you know.
Well,
you see the El Caminos, but you don't see the GMCs.
No, they're El Caminos. GMC was a different breed.
Right.
But the neat thing about it is that whoever owned this in the original, they bought it with the options with the SS package that has the gauges and the tack and all that stuff in it.
Damn.
It was probably a bench seat in it. I don't know.
Man, it's nice.
Yeah.
You want to open the door? Let me get the...
Oh, sure.
I think it was covered up before when I was down there, wasn't it? You maybe pulled the cover off of it or something. But...
It's dirty in there.
Yeah. That's because you drive it.
I use it.
You bet.
Yeah. Had a horn started honking on me the other day, and I had to pull the horn cap off to
Cut
shut
the
it
wire.
off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a nice rig. Man, it's nice. What year?
71.
How many years did they make these? Did they make them along with the El Caminos?
Yes.
Right along every year. Yeah. But they didn't produce near as many, did they?
No, they didn't.
No.
GMC was more of a ranch rig.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's the closest GMC ever got to making a car, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah. The guy I bought it from, he did this.
Yeah.
But he never completed it.
Mm-hmm.
He was going through a divorce. And
I've heard of guys. I've heard of guys had that happen.
And I said, he's selling it and I'm buying it.
Yeah.
Shave the handles on the doors. That's something I had a thing about at the time.
So what do you got under the hood?
It's a 400 small block that was done only in 71, right in there, because Chevrolet was trying to make a engine that would be, they could make it a small block or a big block. They could pull trailers and do anything they wanted. High in nickel, high in tin. And when I bought the engine out of it, I had to search high and low. When I bought the engine for it, it only had 2,000 taper, and it had 80-some thousand miles on it, and it had only 2,000 taper in the cylinders. So the hardening of the cylinders worked out great, and it had a certain mixture of aluminum, because the 400s, remember, they're a Siamese engine. They were trying to make the cooling on it by having aluminum in it. High in nickel, and anyway, it did work out pretty good.
Well, boys and girls, tune in next time and hear old Waylon say, by the way, I think my pedals are going to work. I think this bracket and my hanging pedals, I believe it's all going to work. Okay, fellas, that's going to do it for this time, and that's probably enough, wasn't it? Well, that's probably more than enough, but I got so much footage, you know. Well, it ain't footage anymore, is it? Since it's not tape, you wouldn't call it footage. What do you call it? Digiteach. I got a lot of digiteach. I got a lot of materials what I got. But regardless of that, coming up first part of the week, we got a special report coming up. Well, this kind of is the first part of the week, I guess, but a little bit later on in the first part of the week, we got a special report coming up. You won't want to miss that. So in the meantime, maybe go ahead and smash that subscribe button. You know, it won't cost you anything, and it helped me out quite a bit. It's just the right thing to do. So go ahead and do that, if you wouldn't mind. But that's it, I guess. And until the next time, I sure do appreciate you.